if we are studying the relationship of a single population with their environment, remember it, we will say we are studying the ecology. It is the study of interaction of one population to its environment is called ecology. After having the knowledge of ecology and population, we will move toward the next step. The next step is how we can define the community. When two or more than two different type of populations, they stay together at the same time, at the same place, they form community. So, in the definition of community, there are three basic conditions. There must be two or more than two different type of population, not the same type of population. They must be different type of population. They must stay together at the same time, at the same place. So when two or more than two different populations stay together at the same time, at the same place, they form a community. And the relationship of a community to their environment, its study is known as synecology. It is the branch of the biology in which we study the interaction of community or two or more than two different populations with their environment is called synecology. Now, we will define another term about ecosystem, and that is biome. Biome can be defined as a large regional community primarily determined by its climate. In the definition of biome, we have used two conditions: large regional community, and the identification of large region is determined with its climate. So, we will have an idea about the weather and climate in order to understand the definition of biome. So, weather is the condition of the atmosphere at a particular place over a short period of time. If we calculate the pattern of air, the rainfall for a shorter period of time at a place, then this is known as weather. If we talk about the climate, it refers to the weather. Again, it is the weather, but not for a short period of time. It refers to the weather pattern of a place over a long enough period, using statistical data to yield meaningful average. What I want to say is that climate is the reporting of the weather for a longer period of time, for years and years and years and years over years. Why? If we will have some data of a place, then we will be able to predict that what kind of vegetation can grow at a particular place in which season. What kind of animals can grow or they can develop themselves in a particular place in a particular weather. That is why we calculate the weather condition over a longer period of time in order to predict the conditions. Remember one thing, study of climate is called climatology. It is again another branch of biology in which we study the weather condition and climate condition of an area. Each biome consists of a combination of plants and animals in a fully developed climax community. What is climax community? A community in which there are few chances of changes until the environmental conditions are changed. It is known as climax community. The community at its peak, in which there are less chances of changes, is known as climax community and is characterized by a uniform life. form of vegetation such as grasses or coniferous trees. If we talk about the examples of biomes, it may be grassland biome, it may be forest, or it may be desert. The other term which we will use frequently in ecosystem is biosphere. Remember one thing, on the earth, above the earth, or below the earth. Below the earth means in the deeper layer of the soil. Everywhere where there is life possible is called biosphere. Or we can define it in another way, that is thin layer of the earth in which all organisms exist is known as biosphere. The other term which we will discuss today, that is habitat. Remember one thing, it is the natural part of an environment where a living organism lives is known as its habitat. For example, the fish, its habitat is fresh water or marine water. Similarly, there are many birds who inhabit in forest, they live in forest, so forest is their habitat. The other definition which we will discuss today, that is niche. It is the profession of an organism in its environment. So role of a species which he plays in the community, including its behavior and influence, is known as its niche. For example, there are many living organisms which are photosynthetic, which can prepare their own food from simple inorganic material. So their role is autotrophy. So they are known as autotrophs. There are certain other organisms which are unable to produce their own organic matter by using simple inorganic compound like water and carbon dioxide. So they are heterotrophs. Their role is heterotrophy. And there are other type of organism which are known as decomposer. For example, fungi and bacteria. They help in the recycling of the material, like in the recycle of nitrogen, in the recycling of carbon and phosphorus and magnesium. At the end, I was forgotten about the two types of community. Let me tell you that there are two types of community. They may be simple community or they may be complex community. If community contains less number of population and each population contains minimum number of individuals, then this type of community is known as simple community, like the community under rotten leaf. The other community was complex community. Remember, if a community contains large number of populations and each population contains large number of individuals, then this type of community is known as complex community. For example, the community of a forest. So if you like the video, if you like the lecture, then please subscribe our channel so you will get the notification of the next video. Till then, Allah Hafiz.